Are big investment firms dumping Ethereum for Solana? I'll tell you the truth, I was surprised when I saw how bad things actually are when we pop open the hood. Now we're going to look at three different things. What the Wall Street insiders are saying and doing. We're going to look at bridge flows, actually on-chain analytics, and then we're going to look at the charts. Now first, let's look at the Wall Street insiders. Solana in the corporate treasury, the winning strategy compared to Ethereum. So essentially, Wall Street has fallen in love with the new shiny toy, and that new shiny toy is Solana. Now this article is about a report, and we're going to jump into that in a second. The treasury management based on Solana is attracting the attention of numerous companies and investors who consider this financial asset superior to Ethereum for multiple reasons. Cantor Fitzgerald, an important brokerage firm on Wall Street, is the one who just released this report. Now, if Cantor Fitzgerald sounds familiar, that's because our current Secretary of Commerce, Howard Lutnick, actually came from Cantor. In fact, if you Google it, the old landing page still has this data. Howard Lutnick is chairman and CEO of Cantor Fitzgerald, but when you go to the actual website, they have updated the website. He's passed control to his son, actually, but you can see him right there. That's a Howard Lutnick right above me right there. Now, Cantor Fitzgerald definitely has a Trump connection, but Trump actually has a connection to Solana as well. Trump meme coin was launched on Solana, and Trump's wife Melania also launched her meme coin on Solana. All right, well, let's get back to the article. Why does Cantor prefer Solana to Ethereum? So despite ETH being the main competitor of Solana and still holding a market cap almost 2.5 times larger, Cantor points out that Solana's technology is better in several fundamental aspects. For example, the growth of developers on Solana has recently surpassed that of Ethereum. Analysts predict this trend will continue. The newer devs coming into the ecosystem, they don't want to build on ETH, they want to build on Solana today. But Cantor also talked about these corporations adding Solana to their corporate balance sheet. The report argues that companies that have adopted Solana should list their shares at a premium compared to the net asset value held in the form of Solana. This means that the market should recognize a higher value for these companies beyond the mere sum of the cryptocurrencies held. So what do they list as the advantages of Solana technology? Number one, higher transaction speed. It can do more transactions per second compared to Ethereum. If they want to scale where they have as many transactions as, say, Visa, the whole world, buying coffee, buying gas, going to the grocery store, Solana is better positioned than Ethereum. Now, we could talk about ETH L2s, but that's another conversation. All right, second reason is lower fees. There are lower transaction fees, making capital management more efficient. And so it's going to just have a little bit cheaper price. If you wanted to say, do 1,000 transactions every second like Walmart, you don't need to pay a high price for this. Then they highlight the rapid growth of the development community, increasing the tools and innovations related to these specific chains. So that's the Wall Street outlook, but what about the bridge flows? All right, so bridge flows just track how assets are transferred or bridged across ecosystems. So there are bridges that allow you to turn your Bitcoin into Ethereum or turn your Aptos into Solana. And so tracking this over the last 24 hours, the number one chain people are bridging their money into is Solana, and one of the lowest gainers, at least not in the red, is Ethereum. But this is just the past 24 hours. I actually found the past 7 days as well, and it gets even scarier for ETH holders. When you zoom out, you can see, ETH is losing to their actual L2s, and Solana is coming in at the number one recipient or the number one layer one blockchain here, and all the way down at the bottom, $500 million bridged out of the ecosystem is Ethereum. All right, but now let's get into the charts. This is from Tyler Durden, a larger account here, almost 200,000 followers. He's pointing out a breakdown, so maybe a little bit of good news for ETH holders here. Sol ETH channel is breaking down after 18 months. Are we seeing Ethereum rotations? But the bridge flows do tell another story here, so I wouldn't be surprised to see this reverse and Solana start gaining. But the number on the right is essentially, this is the percentage one Solana is compared to Ethereum. During the bear market, you can get about 100 Solana tokens for every ETH token. And when Solana had a huge run not that long ago, you can get only about, 11 Solana tokens for every ETH token. And as this number goes down, ETH gains value, Solana gains, or Solana loses value. And so we've been in this range. We go up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. And finally, we're starting to see a little bit of a breakdown. And I want to just give you a little bit of warning. I do think Solana is going to reverse this. I do think Solana is going to start gaining against ETH, but there might be a level to the downside I want to put on your radar here, and that's just going to be the previous bull market high. We're going to kind of stretch this out, and you can see we're catching the candle bodies, not the wicks. So this is when Solana had a whole lot of value, September 2021, then had its another little spike in November 2021 before FTX collapsed. And essentially, this is the pullback. I would expect a little bit of reverse. There's not too much more downside here. ETH might continue to gain. Solana could potentially lose another 7, 8, maybe even 10% to ETH. But then after that, I expect Solana to start gaining value again. So there's my breakdown for Solana. Are the corporate treasuries abandoning ETH for Solana? Looks like the rumblings are starting to happen, but the charts are saying, might be a little bit more pain if you're a Solana holder ahead. I'm Deezy. Hopefully I'll see you with your Solana or your Ethereum at the top.